Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. With this week's episode of the Rogues Alley, I'm going to go back to the deck we played last week and actually see if we can make the Naya colors work. You can see that this is a very similar deck list, but it's got a few different tricks up its sleeve. A few more options that I thought maybe Naya might be better at utilizing than the blue for Teamer. But I'm absolutely in love with last week's video series. I ended up playing the deck. I think I ended up playing 10 games and went 9-1 total with the deck in the two-man queues on MTGO. And my only loss was against the Jace's Sanctum blue instant, where they just try to take a bunch of extra turns and then cast their zombie for each instant or sorcery in their graveyard, and that's just a hard matchup for any of these like mid-range type decks. So this Naya deck can be a little more explosive than the Teamer. We are trading off the Whirler Rogue for more cards like Eldrazi Displacer and Bygone Bishop, and Eyeless Watcher also works kind of like another Whirler Rogue. It doesn't get the added benefit of being to get haste off like the Thopter Engineer or the Dragon Tempest, but you can actually sacrifice the Eldrazi Scions for mana. So it's kind of a trade-off with which one is more powerful. And this Eldrazi Displacer does have a pretty good synergy with Eyeless Watcher, because what that allows it to do is when it flickers Eyeless Watcher, you'll get two more Scions back in the battlefield plus an Eyeless Watcher, and then you can sacrifice the two Eyeless Watcher Scions to the Eldrazi Displacer to flicker it again. If you have one more mana anywhere, you can do that. And then on the sideboard, cards like Impact Tremors, that's pretty easy to establish enough damage, especially if you have like two Impact Tremors out, and then just kill them by enough flickers with the Eyeless Watcher. The same can be said with the like Pia and Kiran Nalaar. If you flicker Pia and Kiran Nalaar, then the two Thopters, if you have a Dragon Tempest or a Thopter Engineer out, can actually tap for mana, and then it's just reliant on how many colorless you can generate with like the Battlefield Forge and the Westvale Abbey. That's the only way to generate colorless mana. I had a Wastes in here at one point. I just didn't like it. It was just it felt to me just such like a dead card. You could easily go tutor up with the Pilgrim's Eye, but I just was not a fan. Mana base is a little bit awkward. We might need to change it. We're running 4 forests, 3 plains, 2 mountains, 2 fortified villages, some Canopy Vistas and Cinder Glades, and then Battlefield Forge. So we do want white sources that come into play untapped, because that's what we want to do with our turn 1, is want to cast a Kitesail Scout or a Topplegeist, as they have very good synergy with the Dragon Tempest, as then they have haste, and you can just kind of chain off with these type of cards. They work really well with a Bygone Bishop. Eldrazi Displacer always works really, really well with the Topplegeist if you can flicker it in and tap something down indefinitely for each 3 mana that you have available. Do it on the end of their turn, and then you can actually do it on your turn as well to tap down a blocker. Only going to run 1 Duskwatch Recruiter and 2 Evolutionary Leaps. I might go back up in the count. I mean, I really wanted to see this combo happen more. I got it off a total of twice, I think, in my 10 games of playing on MTGO, but I mean, I did a turn 4 kill with Descent of the Dragons with the Teamer build, just absolutely bonkers. It was like a turn 1 Loam Dryad, which I'm not using in this list. You may notice. I just thought I would cut out the heavy green and just more of a splash green rather than the heavy green like I was in the Teamer build. But it was a turn 1 Loam Dryad into a turn 2 Cryptolith, or turn 2 Fairy and a Cryptolith, I think it was. Yeah, and then a turn 3 Thopter Engineer into a turn 4 both Thopter Engineer and Dragon Tempest, and then a turn 4 Descent of Dragons. So it was what happens. I had 4 permanents on the board, or 4 creatures on the board, sacked them all for Descent of Dragons. It saw 16 damage from the Dragon Tempest Descent of the Dragons combo, and then swung in for an additional 16 damage from the 4/4 Dragons, as they do get haste. So we also really want to secure the waste, because why not? We are like a token type build. The Bygone Bishop should draw us a card off everything in this deck except for the Eyeless Watchers, Pias, and secure the waste. Even draws a card. I'm using that kind of because it gives us a clue, which we eventually will sack. I thought about putting a grid in the deck since we will get clue tokens, but I think at that point, I think that someone should try to build a Naya clues. I've seen a lot of Teamer clues and a lot of Bant clue decks, but I think Naya is a nice way to go with a clue deck, a grid deck. But Anyway, on the sideboard, we get some cool cards here. We get a Dragonlord Dromoka. There's certain decks that just can't beat a Dragonlord Dromoka. It also has haste with the Dragon Tempest and will do a damage as well when it comes out. So I thought I'd just play one of those. Dragonlord Atarka is, of course, going to be a staple in here. The Great Aurora, this is a recent addition. It's actually pretty good. You can get this off quicker than you think. Casting Ulamog or the Great Aurora is not hard, and it's just a blowout versus some decks where they don't have any permanents out. You have a ton of different various tokens out and even enchantments out. You end up putting out more lands than your opponent and having a greater hand than them, and then it just kind of resets the game and it puts you so far ahead in this token type build. World Breaker is a must in the deck. I am going to try one of Eerie Interlude. I think I'll bring it in versus maybe Languish, or it's just really good with the amount of Gearcrafters, Thopter Engineers, Pia and Kiran Nalaar, Eyeless Watcher, Pilgrim's Eyes, even Topplegeist. Eerie Interlude's a pretty powerful card in the sideboard. Might as well try one. Thought about just trying a Gideon that has messed up art on my MTG. It's like a Nissa plus and a Gideon. That's funny. Anyway, this Gideon is a way to establish emblems, and it can actually put out, white knight, allied creature tokens you can get this out pretty early. I'm not quite sure if I'll end up liking Gideon or if Nissa is just better in here for the 0/1 plant tokens. And the 4 of Impact Tremors and Secure the Waste are going to come in with decks that just can't deal with this type of combo. So that's what we're going to be running. It's very similar to last week, but I had so much fun with the deck that I thought I'd give it another go and see how well we do with this Naya build. Anyway, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.